Hi, this is Wes Fryer, and in this screencast, I would like to provide an overview of 5 advantages as well as 5 disadvantages of selling an ebook on your own website. Now, I'm actually an advocate of selling your own ebooks, publishing your own ebooks, but I'm going to highlight the advantages and disadvantages because this may not be a solution that is a fit for everyone, especially depending on how much technical know-how and technical work you want to do on your own website. But it's not going to require that you obtain a programming degree or learn C++ or something super complicated in order to do it. The first reason to consider selling an ebook on your own website, and probably the most important reason for me, is financial. And number one, you get to keep a larger percentage of your revenue when you are selling on your own website. When you list on a website like Amazon.com, typically Amazon is going to keep 30% of whatever the gross sale price is of your book. However, in some countries it's going to change and they're actually going to keep 70%. And they're also limiting you on how many countries can even download your book because of how many countries they have a store in. So Apple is similar in that respect, except I don't know that Apple, I'm not currently selling my book on the iBook store with Apple, but my understanding is that, and because I kind of started that process in the summer of 2011 when I was publishing, and at that time there were only 5 countries that you could publish in, and it was a similar 30%, 70% split. So the percentage is a factor there. The next thing is you can receive your payment a lot faster. In the case of Amazon, it actually takes 60 days to receive your payment for your ebook, and Amazon, I think, just keeps a hold of everybody's money because of the time value of money, and it's profitable for them to do that. There's really no, I don't know, I mean, logistically, I guess, this is how their cycle is set up. We can conjecture on why they've made that decision, but the fact is, you don't see any money when somebody buys something on Amazon for 2 months. And when you sell it on your own website, you can get that immediately. Now, the website that I use for my ebook is called E-junkie, and what it allows me to do is to have some buttons that I'm able to embed and put on my website, as you can see here, that says Add to Cart, so that people can go ahead and purchase ebooks or other kinds of electronic files. I've actually put some podcasts, I made those available for 99 cents as well as ebooks. So E-junkie allows me to do that. And I've gone ahead and logged into my E-junkie account because I want to show you a couple things that relate to the benefits, and then I'll give you an example of showing how quickly you can be paid. Now, there are different online payment systems that are available. PayPal is certainly one of the most well-known. Google Checkout, however, is available, and those are the 2 that I'm using. There are more options as well, but when I click this link here, which I'm not going to actually click to show people's information, well, or maybe I will, and then I'll hide it. This transaction log shows the transactions that have happened within a certain period of time. In this case, it's the last 30 days. So it's showing down here 71 transactions, 75 items sold, and it's gonna give information about each individual purchase. This is a huge, huge benefit, and the reason is that over time, you'll have a lot of folks, hopefully, who are going to be purchasing your book, and when you sell with Amazon or with Apple, they do not share any of the customer information with you. So, for instance, when you come out with a new version of your book, or a new book, as I'm hoping to do, I have no way, or you will not have any way as the author, of directly contacting those folks who have purchased your book through Amazon or Apple or Barnes & Noble or anybody else. So when you choose to sell on your own website, you do. You get people's email address. In the case of E-junkie, turn it on my iPad over here, you can opt to let them sign up for a mailing list. But in the case of my ebook, I'm certainly going to contact folks who purchased my book before, and I'm going to go ahead and offer a discount for them if they've already purchased version 1.0 and they want to purchase version 2.0. And that's a great thing that you can do when you have your own website. The third thing you can do, and this is something else I wanted to show on the E-junkie site. I'm not going to dive into the details, but you can download these, in a delimited format, import that into Excel, do all kinds of things with it. But the other thing you can do with E-junkie, which is huge, is you can easily offer discounts and coupons. So I have done this pretty frequently when I've given presentations, both at a conference or an online conference, and I've started to those are my products. I've started to number these by year, and I don't have that many for 2013, but we can go in and see the 2013 coupon that I did for the meetup. I did a library meetup Friday before last, and so this is the code that I used and I told people, and I set this code to expire at midnight Central Time, 2 days later, and it was a 100% discount code. I can set that to be 50%, I can set it to be on a specific product, and I really, really love that feature. And if I was exclusively selling with Amazon or Apple, I don't think it would be that easy. Of course, I can't speak with assurance about, the iBook store because I'm not selling there. But I haven't found out how to do that on Amazon. I'm not sure if it's possible. And I personally, as an author, love the ability to be able to do that and to send somebody a free copy of my ebook. Again, they'll go through the same process and they can put in their information. I have a log of it, and they can choose the version that they want. And that's all handled by the e-commerce site. Now, the E-junkie solution that I'm using does cost $18 per month, and so that's an ongoing cost. And again, this may not be a fit for everybody, but for me, selling my ebook, in the last year and a half, it has been wonderful. I have loved it. I'm a big fan of E-junkie, and even though it sounds like you're selling drugs, that's not what we're doing. The name may throw you a little bit. It's great. It is a wonderful, wonderful service. So the last option or benefit that I'll mention, and then I want to show you a little demo on my iPhone using the PayPal app, is that you can offer people. Go back here to this page. You can offer people DRM-free versions of your book, and what that means is digital rights management. I guess I could bring that up on a Wikipedia search. Is what Apple and Amazon put on ebooks and also other kinds of media like music to restrict access and control access to content. And in the case of ebooks, you may or may not want to do that. Now, I didn't bring this up either, but it's very interesting to see what J.K. Rowling has done with her ebooks, and she's created a whole website, I'm sure she's had people do it for her, called Pottermore. And if you want to buy her ebooks, you don't do it on Amazon or Apple. You can buy versions for those, for all her books, but you actually buy it directly from her and you download it to your device. So I'm going to talk in a minute about some disadvantages because you got to figure out how to transfer it to your device when you're not using, Amazon Kindle or Apple iBook Store. But it's very interesting to see, what I think the wealthiest person in the United Kingdom has done, J.K. Rowling, how she's handling her ebook sales. And even though as a self-published author, and maybe you are, there's few folks that are in the league of a J.K. Rowling, but we could certainly benefit in the same way that she is for some of the same reasons. She's got a whole team working for her. It's a different situation. But wanted to point that out. And the fact that you don't have to attach the digital rights management when you sell the download. What does that mean? It means that when someone buys your book, they can go put it on multiple devices. And, in the case of a school or an organization, you're going to want to sell a license to them or multiple licenses, and that's something you might consider doing is offering a bulk discount so that you're going to be able to have an incentive for them to purchase multiple licenses and hopefully not pirate your book and just buy it once and give it to everybody. But I think it's great to have a DRM-free version because people have multiple devices, and if somebody buys my book, I think it's great for them to put it on whatever device they want, share it with members of their family, and hopefully other people are going to buy it if they get the book. But it's an advantage, I think, and where some people may see that as a disadvantage. Oh my gosh, digital rights management isn't included. I see that as an advantage. So what I'd like to do now is I'm going to flip over here to my iPhone, and I've connected my iPhone to my computer with AirPlay. I'm using an app called, and I guess it actually went off. I'm using an app on my laptop called Air Display. And so what I'm going to do here, and it's going to say, do you want to allow? And I say yes. It's going to allow me to go ahead and share my phone. So you can go ahead and see the apps, and I'm going to walk through this process. What I'm going to do is click here on the shopping links that I have, and I've got a link for PayPal. And while I do have Google Checkout turned on, and I do have some folks that will purchase my ebooks with Google Checkout, the vast majority of folks will buy with PayPal. And so I'm going to go ahead and, of course, I'm hiding this in the screen recording, put in my password and log into my account because I've had some purchases here in the last few days, and I want to just show you, I think it's better than just explaining it, how incredibly amazing this is. So you can see that there have been 5 purchases of my ebook in the last 3 days. And so there is a balance in my PayPal account of $51.86. And when it comes to percentages, this will give you a little bit of an idea of what we're talking about in terms of funds that you keep, because there is a charge for E-junkie. They're charging me $18 a month, and then I've got hosting charges. I pay actually $100 a month for my hosting, and that's more than you probably would have to pay and would want to pay unless you have a site that is pretty heavily trafficked, and I probably need to shop around and even do better for my pricing. That aside, this website now shows you what my balance is. And so I'm logged into my account. I can tap, and what I've done is connected my bank account to my PayPal. And so I can click this withdraw money, and it's attached to my bank account. I'm going to say $51.86, and I click withdraw. It checks to see if there are fees, and I've never had a fee on my free PayPal account for being able to transfer. And it says 3 to 7 days. Generally for me, this is 2 or 3 days. And I go ahead and click confirm. Boom. That money is going to be in my bank account here in Oklahoma in 2 or 3 days. And actually this summer when I was on a backpacking trek with my son at Philmont, there was one time we were on top of Mount Phillips, which is one of the taller mountains that is at Philmont, and we had cell phone coverage, and we were able to make a phone call and check in with Mom. And I actually was able to run this app and make a more sizable transfer than that one, to my bank account from the top of an 11,000-foot mountain in New Mexico. I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know if anyone else has ever done that before at Philmont, but that was amazing. And so this is, to me, the #1 best reason to sell your ebooks and other digital things that you want to sell. Take tickets, for instance, if you're going to do events, and I've done some of those local events that I've charged my iPad Media Camp, for instance, and it's just really awesome to be able to do that. So that is your little quick iPhone demo. Real quickly, I'll go ahead and talk about some of the disadvantages or just things that you've got to consider if you're going to do this. #1, you are going to need to provide thorough instructions for people about how to download their book. In fact, if we go back to Pottermore and it says, more about compatible devices, you can take a look. What kinds of instructions, do they provide? Because there's all these different tablets, and they've got all these, different things about downloading audiobooks and how do you do that, and probably you and I, if you're a self-publisher like I am, you're not going to have something this extensive. But I definitely think you're going to want to provide a frequently asked questions and some assistance for people. So over here on my ebook page for Playing with Media, I have a link that says a help with ebooks page is available. And so this page has 5 questions. How can I get my ebook on your ebook on my iPad, on my Kindle, on my Nook? I don't have an e-reader. How can I get it? And so I have links here that explain how people can download it directly. Also, they can download it to a computer and transfer via iTunes. That's for the iPad version. I've created a screencast that people can play on YouTube that takes them through that step by step. For the Kindle, I've got options and explanations there and links to Kindle support articles for that. Similarly for Nook, what people can do. And then if folks don't have an e-reader, not everyone knows, but you can get Kindle for PC and Mac. It's free. And if you get the Kindle version of my book, you can open it up there. I really like the Adobe Digital Editions, which is like a PDF reader for ebooks, and it's free, and it's wonderful when it's on your regular computer because it just it opens up any link that you have. And I have links to YouTube videos and Wikipedia articles and blog posts and lots of other things. So it really is a great thing to be able to click links and not just be able to be limited to your device, like maybe on a first generation Kindle or something like that. And so I also recorded a screencast showing how you can download and install Adobe Digital Editions, and then you can open up your ebook. So I'm not saying everyone's going to have to provide detailed screencasts and things like that as I have, but I certainly think if you self-publish, you're going to want to provide helpful links to folks so that they're going to be able to get your book. The second disadvantage I have listed is you're going to need to respond to customer questions when people have trouble with your ebooks. And I don't get one of these every week, but I probably get one about every other week. And generally, I'm pointing people to this page. I'm referring them to the screencast. I'm finding out what their situation is, and that may not be something you have time for or you want to mess with. But when you buy something on the iBook store from Apple or on the Kindle bookstore from Amazon, it's a pretty seamless process, and it just comes to your device, it appears, it's in the cloud, people tap it, it's there. People don't need to email it to themselves or plug their device in and do a transfer process. So keep that in mind, and I think it's important to be prepared to respond to customer questions and problems, because there are going to be some that come up with the process of getting an ebook onto your device. I think it's a great thing for people to understand how that works, because there's a lot of free ebooks that you can get from Project Gutenberg and other places, and so it's a good thing for people to know that, but you need to be prepared to respond to some of their questions, and I think a good frequently asked questions page, a help page, can help with that. The next thing is you're going to need to, of course, configure your website for having buttons on it. I'm using, in this case, two different things. I have a Posterous site right now. We hope Posterous is going to stay around. But I've put the code that E-junkie provides to add to cart for these different versions. And so, that's code that you have to copy and paste and put in as you format your page. I really think if you're self-publishing, you want a website for your book, and you want a place for people to be able to click all the links and all the possibilities for where they can buy your book. So that is a coding thing. It's a copy and paste process, but you're going to need to set that up or have somebody else help you set that up. The other thing is to consider is that some locations like schools might have shopping cart sites blocked. So teachers, if in my case, may have to purchase this at home or purchase this on their own cell phone connection, on their tablet or their smartphone, because of that. And then the last disadvantage is you're realizing you'll be responsible for your marketing as a publisher. I did run a report at the end of last year on sort of how all my sales had gone, I'm gonna actually publish a report as a blog post with a little bit more information, but I was very pleasantly surprised, and my net sales in the first year were over $10,000 for my self-published book. I don't have a real comparison for that as far as saying whether that was just great or not so great, but my suspicion is it was really good, especially when I've heard about folks who have been a first-time publisher and gone to a publisher, got a really small percentage of their amount, and in some cases people have been very disappointed that I've talked to about how little help their publisher gave them with marketing and things like that. So I hope this has been helpful information to you. I don't want to represent the idea of selling on your own website for ebooks or other digital products as being the answer for everyone, because there are technical issues that will come up. Your website, I had one of my websites, not an ebook site, but another site, actually hacked back in October, and I had to figure out how to get that fixed and patched and stuff, and that was kind of yucky. There's stuff that can come up. So this isn't a situation that's going to work for everybody. I guess the last thing that I'll mention is the Kindle Direct Publishing. I think that if you're going to put your ebook out there digitally, the most important place to have it today is on Amazon. And so the Kindle store is the place where you can do that, and you can just directly upload your file that you create to Kindle's website. But there's a lot of other resources that you can access with respect to ebooks and ebook publishing. I'm not going to go into more of those, but I will go ahead and point you to a site. I'll give you the short code here, wfryer.me/ebooks. That's going to jump you to a Google site that I've created that has just a ton of links and resources, presentations, videos, all about ebooks and publishing them. Lots of links to reference resources from the video conferences and podcasts I've recorded about lessons learned and things like that. It's maybe a little bit overwhelming, but I hope that information is helpful because we live in a very, very exciting day. Not only for accessing information and being able to, have unprecedented resources at our fingertips like ebooks, but also for publishing ebooks. And I hope this website has been informative for you, and I encourage you to publish your own ebook at some point if you haven't already. Good luck.